All right. Welcome in to a Toilets to Titles NFL 2023 season special. Me and my guy Nino Brown at Nino Brown underscore T2T on the Twitter. This evening, we are talking to you about two NFL teams. We're going to be doing this for the next 4 weeks. We're going to be breaking down wins and losses for these teams' schedules and comparing, which team do we believe is going to win more games and why. Nino, how we doing this evening?
I'm good. I know both of us got a jam-packed schedule, jam-packed with shows and interviews and college football and everything. But I brought this to your attention, and you was like, "Yeah, I'm in," because I think this is something that'll be interesting, and I had fun just breaking it down. I didn't expect you to be on the same page as me, to be honest, and I'm glad you were. This is going to be an interesting show.
Yeah. Well, we have once we break it down. So just peek behind the curtains. Nino brought this idea to me. The NFL season's right around the corner. Like, this is the best time of year,
Yeah.
especially for people like us. We've been kind of grinding, and the hard work, and now it's playtime because now the season's here. We get to watch, and hopefully the viewer at home and the listener at home, you enjoy this. We got two good teams tonight. It's Jacksonville and the Los Angeles Chargers, two teams that are likely going to be playoff teams. One team is in a tougher division than the other, so you have to factor that in. Both have young quarterbacks, both have talented rosters. One is a young coach, one is a veteran coach. So there's some things we're going to discuss, but we wanted to break down wins and losses, kind of keep it comparable, and see which team is going to win more games than the other. And I think as we go through, we're close in record, but I have some games that, I think a team will win, you think the team will lose. But do you want to start this thing off by going through the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah, do you want me to just read the schedule, or do you want me to read my takes as well, like my picks?
Why don't you
Read the schedule?
Yeah, why don't we go through the first quarter of the schedule? Let's go through the first quarter of the schedule, and then we can bring in some takes as we go through it and whatever's relevant to those games.
I'm with it. All right, so first 4 games, they start off the season at Indy, then it's at home against Kansas City, at home against Houston, and at home against the Falcons.
Right. So you have week 1, Indianapolis, right? Yep. We both have wins here.
Yes.
Right. We both have wins. We don't know what's going on with Jonathan Taylor. Okay. This is a division opponent. So sometimes it's a little harder to gauge division opponents, but I just expect Indianapolis is basically in a full rebuild. You got guys like Michael Pittman. You brought in a young wide receiver in Josh Downs. Yeah. The defense, who knows if Shaq Leonard if he's going to stay healthy, how long he's going to be around for. I know they got Zaire Franklin, right. And our boy from Kansas State, I'm drawing a blank.
Julius Brents.
Yeah. So they got a young roster, but ultimately, I think Jacksonville's going to come in hot.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think we're looking at what they did last year, right? They weren't expected to be a playoff team. We're a playoff team. They pushed this team, right? In the playoffs last year. I just think they added more pieces to the puzzle, and they're going against teams early that are kind of trying to figure things out, right? Anthony Richardson does have a huge ceiling, but he has a big floor as well. Right now, he's trying to figure things out. I think it's early for the Colts. I think this Jacksonville comes in there and just runs to town.
And Jacksonville's pretty strong on the edge.
Yeah,
they have some very, Trayvon Walker coming into year 2. So I think Jacksonville now, Josh Allen. So they have guys. If they're gonna be
Will Khan, who just doesn't miss a beat, and if they bring in Clowney, I think that could be the piece to the puzzle. I know he was at a visit there today. That's a piece of the puzzle that I think that kind of fills it all in.
And the reason I bring that up for this game is because what's Anthony Richardson going to try to do? Extend the play, get out of the pocket. And when they got big physical athletes who can, he's going to get a good test. He's going to get a good test week 1. All right. Then next week, they got the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
All right. So I actually have it as a win because it's a home game early in the season. I think Kansas City has a lot of new weapons on the offense with Rashee Rice. Juju Smith-Schuster's gone. I know they got Isaiah Pacheco back. He looks healthy. Travis Kelce's back. But I think, and some changes in the secondary with Juan Thornhill gone. So I think this might be a game that, Kansas City's going to be okay. Yeah. I could just see Jacksonville coming, early on. Well, coming in off a high and pulling this one out. But you feel the other way.
So here's my thing. Last year, I feel we were having the same conversation of where Kansas City was with new wide receivers, new players in position. Pacheco was a late pick, kind of like Dendrick Prince is a late pick.
Right.
They had Juju in there. Now, is it Sky Moore in the second year going to take over? Is it Ray Rice coming in? Is he going to take over? Is it Justin Ross finally emerging?
Right.
So they got just as many questions, but I can't count out Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And I can't count out Travis Kelce. And I understand that it's early and it's on the road, but these guys are veterans now. These guys just get it done. They're top-notch talent. Andy Reid doesn't miss a beat, doesn't miss a burger. You know what I mean? So I think the Chiefs win this one. I think it'll be very close, like a 31-28 type game. I think Trevor Lawrence is coming into his own. He's shown that in the last 7 games down the stretch in the regular season and in the playoffs last year. So I think this is going to be a test. I think this L early for the Jaguars will feed the fire for the rest of the season.
Right. And you have some notes here about the wide receiver core. So Jacksonville's Jaguars, their wide receiver core has taken a step. So talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so they added Calvin Ridley, right? Who's hungry as all hungry can be, being out a year. And I mean, I think we were kind of on the same page. You got to spend a full year for gambling. You got guys that are doing domestics. You got guys doing, driving with DUIs that are getting less of a suspension than Calvin Ridley did. So he's hungry and he's got something to prove. And everything we're seeing is camp, everything we've seen in the first preseason, he's sharp. He looks good. He's fast.
Sharp is the best. Like, that word is perfect. Precise, like a razor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. His footwork is back to being the footwork, we saw that first year in Atlanta with Julio Jones. So I love that. You got Christian Kirk's back. Zay Jones is back. And now, outside of drafting Parker Washington, who's being slept on, and I know he's, 5th on the depth chart right now, they're bringing back the gadget guy who's healthy now in Jamal Agnew. And we've seen, not last year, but the year previous, at the end of the season, Agnew was a vital piece, not only on special teams, but as a slot guy.
Yeah.
So I think having a full receiving core, at his service is great. And then you got a stacked tight end room, right? You got Ingram back, signed a big 3-year deal for $40 million. They drafted Brandon Strange. And I don't want to hear anything about, there's too many tight ends, because Peterson lets every tight end eat.
Yeah.
He did it 3 straight years with, 3 different sets of 2 tight ends. They did it, Goddard and Ert.
And Burton even.
So they rotate. So these guys can eat. And we've seen it, kind of happen last year. Ingram's obviously the guy. But don't be surprised if Strange. So you're giving all the weapons, to Trevor. Now let him go play his game.
And everybody, those weapons are it's diverse.
Yes.
It's like he's got a box of crayons. Like, and it's multiple. Everything's at his fingertips. Zay Jones is a little bit different than Calvin Ridley. A little bit different than, you meant Parker Washington.
Right.
A little bit different than Evan Ingram. And then even Etienne and Bigsby. It's what's your flavor? So they can pick and choose their battles. And that's the making of a good roster. I don't want to gush too much over the Jacksonville Jaguars, but that's
they need it. It's been a long time since like Mark Brunell, where they were really good. I know they had that one run against Tom Brady. Where they went, was it the NFC Championship game?
That was they were loaded.
Yeah, they were loaded. But listen, they deserve the credit. And I'm honestly going to go out and say right now, if you look, we say you have integral pieces, right? But I think every piece fits their puzzle, right? So you got the guy who could take the top off the ball. You got the guy who could be a possession receiver. You got the 2
We didn't even mention Christian Kirk. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
I didn't like
Kirk. Right, that's what I'm saying. So you got Kirk, who's you could be your one, or really could be your one, but they're both interchangeable, right? They can both, you get the route running, you got the hands, you got the possession. You got Zay Jones, who's reliable. Zay Jones is going to be a Marvin Jones. They just switch first names. That's it. You know what I mean?
Zay Jones is so safe.
And he don't get no credit. He just but he's cool being the 3. He has no problem being a 3. He knows what he's good at. He gets it done. You get 2 tight ends that can short and intermediate. You got 2 running backs that can do the short and intermediate and can go for a wheel route. I mean, Etienne can take us to the house at any time, right? And Parker Washington could fill in that role to be that guy that's a slot guy with Agnew. And they just I think they have the most complete wide receiver room in football.
All right, these next 2, I don't think too difficult. We both got them beating Houston.
Yeah.
We both got them beating Atlanta. 2 teams that young rosters. Atlanta, is exciting. That might be a more fun game. That Houston will be fun because it's division, but I could see Atlanta, putting up some points, possibly giving them a tough outing. But then let's actually just go into week 5. All right. They play against Buffalo early in the season. If you're going to play Buffalo in Buffalo
early,
ideally, especially if you're from Florida, but we both have this as a loss.
I do. I have it as a loss. Lawrence is taking a step.
Right.
But Josh Allen keeps taking steps.
Right.
So it's hard to.
And Buffalo's usually hot early.
Yes, and they fizzle towards the second half.
It's
Okay.
towards the end of the year that they kind of.
They have moving pieces as well. They got a new running back. Is it going to be James Cook? Is he going to be the bell cow,
Right.
or will Damian Harris come in there and take some stuff away from him? Who's going to step up? I've heard it for 3 years. Is it Gabe Davis' season, or is it going to be somebody else? Right?
I put money on tomorrow. Well, I don't know
Khalil
when this
Shakir?
is being released. No, I don't know when this is being released, but we're doing on T2T. So regardless of when this is released, check out T2T if you want to see some prop bets. I put money on Dalton Kincaid winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. Good odds.
Oh, all right. But I'm saying I was looking at wide receivers. So yeah, it's very good odds.
Yeah.
He's already making them one-handed catches. He's already acting like a playmaker out there.
And he's playing the slot. They got him in the slot.
Which to me, all right, so which I think Gabe Davis would be his position.
That's the reason I brought him up.
But now he's on the outside, opposite Stephon Diggs. And we've seen Diggs when Gabe Davis is on the outside, he is the original Jalen Hyatt, the broken play guy. Okay.
Right.
There's no separation at the line. Yeah, he can make great one-handed catches when he's wide open.
Right.
But what can he do when there's a guy in his throat? So
man, I don't really like Buffalo this year.
But they get it done. But they seem to just get it done.
But
if the running back situation starts early and it's clicking, watch out.
They're just kind of a mishmash of talent.
Yeah.
There's like when I think of that roster and I think of the coaching staff and I think of the leadership, I don't see much continuity. Where like we're talking about the Chiefs and it's like you just feel like the nucleus of that team between Reed and Mahomes and Kelsey, like everybody's on the same page. Like with Buffalo, I don't know. It don't seem right. But let's move over to the Los Angeles Chargers for the first 5 games of the season. All right.
Let's do it.
Miami, week 1, you have a win. I have a loss. And this is in Miami. And I like Los Angeles this year. They're in, a tougher division than Jacksonville. But my thoughts, with Miami, they're another team. I think they're going to start hot. And who knows what they're going to be at the end of the season. Them, Buffalo, the Jets, New England. New England's going to give them a test just because New England's physical, especially if they have to go up in Foxborough like late in the season. I think week 10 or so. So I think Miami comes out the gate hot. It's going to be high scoring. It's going to be great for fantasy and for DFS. But what are your thoughts on this matchup?
I really went back and forth on this one because weapons, they both got them.
Right.
Coaching staff, young coaching staff, they both got them, with that just unique, try to do different things. Defensively, they got the coaches, they got the guys. Fangio had me almost on the fence, but then I started diving into it, right? Because Fangio coming into Miami changes that defensive scheme and the playmakers there. Ramsey being out, okay, the other guy is getting targeted. Okay, but
I liked Igbenogany coming out, man, and he's been nothing. The kid from Auburn, press corner. Like I thought he's been very below average. Yeah.
But they got a guy that I liked. I know my guy Bosage was a big fan of, and Cam Smith that they drafted. So I think he gets some time, but it's early. So what happens when you're facing the 3-headed monster, or it could be a 4-headed monster if Josh Palmer's 100%, right? Tua, he had to go take jiu-jitsu classes to feel. That's what he did. He almost retired. You didn't see that? It broke this morning. He almost retired from football at the end of last year. He took jiu-jitsu classes. He's still taking jiu-jitsu, and it's helped his whole upper body, like his neck, the whole how to fall. It's taught him many different things. This is why he's back. Not the only reason, but one of the reasons health-wise.
Maybe he's going to fight one of the Paul brothers after his career's over.
Maybe when he falls, he'll do a little like tuck and roll instead of But I think it's helped. It's helped him for falling and must having better back there because it's not been too good for him.
Right.
That's a question. So the QB is a question for me. Okay. Is Waddle going to be 100% come week 1, 2? Because right now they're not releasing much information.
Yeah,
he's not
Like
practicing.
that's his MO though. Last year, same thing.
But it was different. It was the ankle last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, but like I don't know if there's something with Alabama wide receivers. Like think about Amari Cooper.
Yeah,
he's always kind of got something. Shows up on game day. Even now, Mechie seems to always kind of have something going on.
I'm just the issues there.
Right. I get it.
And Chubb kind of was last year for them. I thought he was going to be. I think Chargers are coming in with an extra weapon, right? the key factor, the X factor is going to be Eckler. Is he going to come in and play? Is he going to just play this whole card about I want to do Zoom calls, and if I ain't getting my money, then I might fake an injury, or could it last a little bit longer?
Who was that cat like this weekend that had that like 40, 50-yard reception for a touchdown, undrafted free agent rookie?
Oh, yes. And then Spiller got a little action too. So like,
right.
There's talent back there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the defense is healthy. Bosa's healthy. Mac's healthy. J.C. Jackson's healthy.
Yeah.
Samuel Jr. is healthy. Derwin James is healthy. That is tough. I don't care if you got Waddle and Reek. That's tough to beat.
Who's the linebacker? They brought in, I think they drafted a linebacker.
Deion Henley. They let Drew Tranquil go.
Yeah.
And here's the point that I put in my notes. Is it going to be Henley or is it going to be Kenneth Murray? This is Kenneth Murray's supposed to be time, right? But this is a stat that I gave Boomer, and this is his guy. They dropped Kenneth Murray back 400 snaps in coverage, bro. Let this dude go downhill.
Right.
And then you're going to get the Kenneth Murray you got Oklahoma. But not to play coverage. He's a downhill linebacker.
Right.
If they put him in coverage, then it's going to be Deion Henley.
Right. And they also have Divine Diablo. Oh, no, he went to Vegas. I'm sorry. Wrong.
Yeah, he went to Vegas. And he switched positions. He switched positions from safety to linebacker. So I think they're just more ready to pop, ready to go, fully healthy. That defense could be a big problem, which is I thought they would be last year, but they got hurt with the injuries right away.
Right. And you mentioned Chubb with the Dolphins. I really like Jalen Phillips. But the Chargers have somebody who can neutralize one of those guys, and Rashawn Slater.
Yeah.
He's elite.
He takes one side of the field away.
Elite. So all right. So that's you have Miami. I'm sorry, you have the Chargers winning that one. I have the Chargers losing next. Tennessee. We both have Chargers dub. So I don't think that's two. And then first Minnesota at Minnesota. I think Minnesota's a fun team. I think the Chargers are just better at every facet of the game.
So if you go down the line outside of wide receiver one, I think the Chargers are better. Okay. Right. Herbert's better than Cousins. You know what I mean? Eckler's better than Madison. I don't care how you cut it. I know people want to pump up tires for Alexander Madison, but
that's fantasy,
Yeah, and then Jefferson's the guy. But I mean, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams are dudes. They got to stay healthy, But they got guys that replace them in Palmer and Q. So it's like, if you fall, you're not falling too far. You know what I'm saying? Defensively, I think Minnesota takes his hit. They let Kendricks go. I know they love Brian Asamoah, but I haven't seen it.
Right.
He hasn't. The game action ain't there. He didn't even play in the preseason game. So I got to see it before I'm all in on that defense. I was in on him last year. I called him Super Bowl. They made it to the second round of playoffs,
and we'll see him take a step.
Right.
That's a high draft pick, and we really haven't heard much.
Well, he was injured, right? Last year, but not even this year. I'm not hearing.
It's really like you wouldn't even know he's in the NFL right now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, but the tight end position, Minnesota wins.
Yes.
I didn't. TJ Hawkinson. So if you're listening at home, Minnesota fans, yes, TJ Hawkinson is a stud. All right, Las Vegas, I think pretty cut and dry. We both have wins. So and then bye. All right. So through the first 5 weeks, pretty similar. Let's go back to Jacksonville now. All right, week 6, they play Indianapolis.
Yep.
We both have dubs.
Yep.
New Orleans, week 7, we both have dubs. And then Pittsburgh. I think this is where it gets interesting. You have it as a win. I have it as a loss. The reason I have it as a loss is, so it's funny because I have them beating Kansas City at home.
Right.
And then losing to a team like Pittsburgh. In Pittsburgh, it's a hard place to play.
I agree.
Place to play. And also, after winning, back-to-back games, I could see them coming in a little bit of high, and I think Pittsburgh could be ready. They could run the football. They got a solid defense. They have good weapons on the offensive side of the ball. I don't necessarily think Pittsburgh's a better team, but I just think given the environment halfway through the year, week before the bye, so usually like right before the bye, teams are already looking to the future. So I kind of factored all that in. But what are your thoughts on the Pittsburgh matchup?
I like it. Going to Pittsburgh is always difficult. I watched my Patriots struggle and usually either got away with a 1-point win or lost by a field goal when they went to the Heinz Field.
Right.
The issue I have, and I'm a Kenny Pickett guy, and he seemed to progress as the season went on. All right, it wasn't as fast as I'd like, but he did go. He progressed. If their defense is as good as it's supposed to be, okay, you got Cisco, Antonio Johnson coming from Texas A&M, right? If they're going to be those dudes, Jenkins as well,
right?
Now you can start to clamp these receivers. Now, is that if you could take Pickens away, you're not going to pick him away the whole game. You might, he's going to get a couple of big plays here and there. But if you can eliminate him,
right.
does Allen Robinson have enough in the tank to be the guy to step up?
Right.
Is Kenny Pickett as polished now to when they take away Freiermuth and Pickens or even DJ?
In DJ, yeah.
Can he find the guy that he needs to go to? I'm not sure yet. Maybe by midseason he can. I know he's got 1 year under his belt. Tomlin's a great coach. I think Pittsburgh's defense is a little bit better than the Chargers defense, but I think the secondary for the Chargers is better than Pittsburgh's. I know Minka's still there, but you got 4 guys in 4 guys in Jacksonville's secondary that I think are better than the 4 total, at Pittsburgh.
Yeah. But now, other thing though, if it depends on what happens with Jonathan Taylor. Now, if Jonathan Taylor isn't seeing much reps early in the season, this is going to be the first matchup Jacksonville sees a downhill rushing attack.
Okay.
So, a lot of the previous, like Buffalo, Atlanta, I guess, you could say Dameon Pierce is a downhill guy.
Yeah.
But it's not Najee Harris.
No.
And it's not we're going to punch you in the mouth. We're going to try to slow the game down. So maybe,
but they're built for it.
Right.
That line is built kind of, and
Right.
that's why
Right.
I'm like high on the Jags because they've built the piece.
It's going to be a good game.
Yeah, that'll be a close one.
Yeah. All right. So that goes to their bye. Now we're going to go to the LA Chargers versus Dallas at home. The last time Dallas played in LA, it was a close, very close matchup. It was Slater and Parsons rookie year. Dallas won that one early in the season. I wanted to put a win. You put a loss. So I kind of, I'm high on the Cowboys right now, but I do think this is going to be a very close matchup. Kellen Moore, revenge game, all that talent at the wide receiver position. Cowboys have talent at defensive back position. I think this is going to be a very even matchup. I think this is going to come down to whoever's kicker has ice in their veins at the end of the one.
Ooh, I like that. I know you said the Kellen Moore revenge game, but the Dallas defense knows Kellen Moore's game.
Yeah.
And they've seen it every day, every week. So I think that this is a good. I'm with you. That's going to go right down to the wire. I just think that CeeDee Lamb's going to take it. I think this is a CeeDee Lamb season.
Right. And Cooks and Dak have been connecting. I think, so all right, but we're going to keep it on the Chargers. So we both have it as a loss. And then versus Kansas City, we have this as a loss. So back-to-back losses. That one's at Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's tough, very tough environment. Now, at this point in the season, 6-7 games in, who everybody is.
Yes.
As long as there's no injury concerns, it's pretty much cut and dry. And then versus Chicago, we both have it as a win. And then the next one, I'm going to try to get to this one. So this is at the New York Jets.
Okay.
I want to see Rodgers versus Herbert. We both have it as a win, but this might be a fun one as well.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the Bolts passing game was 12th in the league in points. 12th in the league for yardage, right? And they were 12th in points per game, okay? And they were top 10 when it came to third down rate. In a game like this is what they're going to have to showcase, okay? This is what they're going to need because Aaron Rodgers is going to want to have the ball more in his hands. So he's going to, I think in this game, it's going to be methodical. I think Rodgers is going to try to slow the game down, that old school Green Bay, think and dunk, short pass, go play action over the top. Just kind of go 10, 12 play drives, right, to keep them off the field. I think, in my opinion, I feel that the pieces and the way that the style of play for the Chargers, I understand the Sauce is there. He's going to take a guy away.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's fine. Is it going to be Keenan Allen?
But who do you put him on?
Or at this point, has Q developed? And they have to put Sauce on Q.
Right.
Because he's the bigger guy. He's going to need someone up in his neck. And if that's the case, now you got the seasoned veteran being able to eat on the outside against, Hall and Reed, these other cornerbacks. People are going to probably say this is going to be like a 7-point game. I think that the Chargers are going to pull away at the end.
Okay.
I go with like a 2-score game late.
Like a breakthrough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see that. All right.
Rodgers forces one later in the game, trying to get right back in it. They score quick, 13-point dub.
Shout out to the Jets signing Dalvin Cook this morning. Shout out to your Patriots signing Zeke. I like him. This for another time.
I saw your thing, 800 yards or whatever. It was
700
yards,
plus.
8
700
touchdowns.
Plus. Yeah. I think.
Are we running the ball? I say we because it's behind. Are we running the ball for 2,000 yards this year?
Yes. Yes.
So then that goes against everything that they wanted to do. Develop a quarterback.
Maybe I don't know. I just think they are. I think they're running for 2,000 yards.
I got a problem with it only because now you're paying a guy up to $6 million. I want to know what the base salary is because Ramonde's making 1.3 as the bell cow.
Right.
For a guy who kind of a little.
You're gonna like Zeke. You're gonna like Zeke. I think you're gonna enjoy him. You're gonna enjoy him.
The only thing I can say is Patriots come in with veteran backs, and they
shaved his head too. You see, he looks like Ohio State Zeke right now.
That's Bill.
Yeah, but he looks like happy about it. And he needed a change, man. He needed a change. All right, back to the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Let's go.
They play San Francisco after their bye. You have it as a win. I have it as a loss. San Francisco, I think, loaded, absolutely loaded. This
Except
is a playoff
for one
game.
position,
quarterback. Yeah, but that's the position that they've been most capable of masking. All they need is if they could have a guy for the full season, and if Purdy can just sustain, it'll be good enough. I think it'll be good enough. You know,
I like Purdy, okay?
Right.
And I'm not trying to be the guy that eats his own crow, but I think he was a better QB last year for that team. I think he got a playoff win. I said it anyway. If he got a playoff win, he's good in my book, right? He is Mr. Relevant. If you could tell me, because I tried to do a little what quarterback has come back from Tommy John?
Oh, I don't know.
That's a lot, right? And
he's already back.
Is he?
Well, he's at practice.
You and I could be at practice.
But I mean, they have depth. They have Darnold. They have if he ain't ready, why bring in Darnold? If you at least think Darnold can drive the bus.
Here's my problem. You brought in Darnold because you're not sure if Lance or Purdy are ready.
But
we watched the Darnold experience on two teams.
Why would you rush him back if you brought in Darnold?
Have you seen Darnold lately?
Then let him go.
Ghosts, right? You need depth.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like if he wasn't ready at his age, they would. We'll see. Well, but you have it. We're cutting it. We're at 27. You have it as a win.
Yeah.
I have it as a loss. This is going to be a playoff game. It's going to be a playoff atmosphere, and I think Jacksonville is going to learn a lot from this one. I think San Francisco too, because Jacksonville is no joke. Tennessee, we both have it as wins. Houston, we both have it as wins, and then Cincinnati. All right, so you have it as a loss, and I have it as a win. So I have them losing to San Francisco, but then I have them beating a team like Cincinnati. So I think we kind of swapped.
Yeah.
Right. So both playoff games. This one's at home. I think if it was in Cincinnati, I'd be a little more leaning towards Cincinnati, but I think Cincinnati's good. I think they're another team that's going to be contending for the AFC Championship. But I think Jacksonville, they're going to be they probably have this game circled. Like this, they need to prove
litmus test right here.
We're a good team, but how good are we? We have to show it this day.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on this matchup?
This is the litmus test for the Jags. I like the Jags I like the Bengals in this one because of the offense. They didn't lose anything, right? Outside of the tight end, they lost Hayden Hurst. They bring in Irv Smith, okay? Those wide receivers are tough, okay? Mixon took a cut to come back.
Right.
He's bought in. He says he felt that he could have been the final piece coming back to get them to Super Bowl. Did anybody see Hendrickson play in that first preseason game? I mean, he was. I think he had 4 sacks in the first 2 drives. He was in the joint practices. He had 7 sacks in 1 week's of joint practice.
Hell yeah.
He's fired up and ready to go. All right, they're clicking on all cylinders. If Joey's leg is good, the Bengals win this game, in my opinion.
Right. And this will be another fun one. Like this stretch right here. Good thing they have Tennessee and Houston in between. They might lose one of those games between Tennessee and Houston because these 2 games on the bookends are so big time. And they're probably going to be beat up after the San Francisco game, probably licking their chops to get ready for Cincinnati. I wouldn't be surprised they just lose one of those 2 matchups just because of the situation. Sometimes that happens during a football season.
See, I think it's this game. I was 50-50 on this one.
Right.
The Cleveland game?
Oh, the next one.
Because it's sandwiched in between Baltimore and Cincinnati. So that could be a look-ahead game. And it's 3 in the same conference.
Right. And it's at Cleveland too, man. We both have it as wins, but now that like I can see after kind
Watson
of
should
just
be primed and
yeah,
rolling, a well-oiled
yeah,
machine at this point.
right.
If all the wide receivers stay healthy, Chubb should be right around close to
The
1,000
the
yards at this
reason
point.
I think Jacksonville is going to win this game is because I don't think they're Jekyll and Hyde type team.
No, I don't think so either.
So I could see them, if they're licking their wounds and they just can't, they have guys out, but I could see them showing up and just playing a solid brand of football.
Yeah.
And that might be enough to pull through against Cleveland. Like Cleveland could pull one off against Buffalo. Cleveland could, like, there's teams that are late in the season, even Pittsburgh, I think up and down, like you're not sure what you're going to get on any given day. That's the type of team Cleveland's going to take advantage of. But I think that Jacksonville will sustain.
Well-rounded team.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, let's go to the other side. All right, Los Angeles Chargers. Detroit. We both have this as a loss. I think we're both drinking the Detroit Lions Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm with it. Goff, he got written off. Most people that get written off like that go in the corner and hide, right? This guy says, nah, I'm with it. I'm going to show you what
He got written off at 25 years old. He's only 28. He made it to the Super Bowl at like 24.
And they Bill
Belichick figured him out.
Yep.
Undressed him in front of the entire league. And then everybody was like, oh, this is the way to beat him. And then he goes to a coach who believes in him. Gets us like, all right, this is what you're good at. This is what you're bad at. Let me figure it out. So, yeah, I'm all in on Goff too, man.
I think he's good. I've been saying it. I'm going to keep saying it. I'm on Ross St. Brown as a top 5 wide receiver by the end of the season. They got pieces of the puzzle. If Jameson Williams can figure it out, that receiving core and, the Gibbs and Monty in the backfield, they went from having a linebacker room that was in question to Campbell looking like he's already, Chris Spielman. And Malcolm Rodriguez and Anzalone are already like integral pieces to a room.
Anzalone's like a great, he's like your third wheel.
Yeah, and Rodriguez I got it coming up in our head-to-head tomorrow, but Rodriguez only played like 50% snap share, still almost had 100 tackles. You know what I mean? And he was a rookie last year trying to figure it out. So
and they believe in him now. I think Dan's going to give him more because he has to.
You know what Dan did right? He started building this team from the line out.
Right. Yeah.
O-line, D-line. Yeah. First year, that's what he did.
Yep.
And now they're clicking.
Man, then they brought in Branch, who's my Branch is I love that. All right, Green Bay, we both have wins. Baltimore, we both have wins. New England wins, and then Denver. So Denver might be tough but it's a home game.
It's at home.
Yeah.
When it came to this division in the West, when they traveled to face the teams outside of Vegas on the road, I get a little nervous.
Right. Yep. Well, let's go back to Jacksonville. Let's finish this thing off for them. Versus Baltimore, we both have a loss. All right. This is at home versus Baltimore. So I have them beating Cleveland, but then I just think Baltimore late in the season, veterans, tough, physical. I think they're going to punch Jacksonville in the mouth this late in the year.
2 words. Todd Monken. Nobody's seen a Baltimore Ravens offense like they're going to see this year.
Right.
You ain't seeing 65-35. You're probably not even going to see 60-40. This is probably going to be the closest 50-50 split in the Ravens offense since in about 10 years.
Right. And we earlier in the show, we talked about the depth the Jaguars have at wide receiver. The Ravens got some depth, man.
Oh, yeah.
The Ravens got, between Bateman, Odell Beckham, Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. They got guys that, I don't know if it's going to be frustrating in fantasy because it's probably going to change depending on the week, depending on the matchups, depending on where Lamar is being flushed out of the pocket, who's breaking off their route. But as far as NFL goes, it's going to be strong.
Yeah, I mean, there's also 2 names that got a lot of time last year that people don't even think about. Devin Duvernay,
right,
who was a special teams guy, took over, and James Prochet. Yeah. He's got a. I think he got hurt today in practice somewhere, so he left early. But both those guys stepped in big roles last year and did pretty well. Duvernay especially. But Zay Flowers and what he did just in that first preseason game, if you ain't holding him, you ain't catching him.
Right.
And refs were seeing it, and they were calling it. Zay Flowers is going to open up that Baltimore offense like you've never seen.
Right. And let's see what J.K. Dobbins, he got cleared today. He's off
Yes.
the PUP. So hopefully he shows up. Hopefully he plays because all he needs to be is just good.
Was that timed, by the way? That gong? Did you time that gong
No,
perfectly?
sorry. I kicked.
It was like perfect for the J.K. Dobbins off the pop.
That was my foot hitting the bottom of my steel table.
I love it.
Yeah. But he doesn't need to be great. He
No.
just needs to be good.
Yes.
He can be good. He could be consistent, 4 yards a carry, every now and then a big 12, 15-yard chunk, even off a dump pass or a run. That's all he needs to do because he's not the guy. Lamar Jackson's the guy.
That's
all right,
it.
So we have it as loss. Tampa Bay, we have it as wins. Carolina wins. Tennessee, you have a win. I have a loss. And the only reason I have a loss is because by this point, I think they are in the driver's seat. And it could come down to them for home field advantage. But I also feel like the AFC West and the AFC South, the teams coming out of there aren't going to have as many wins as years past because I think the talent's good. Like the Jets, Dolphins, Bills, whoever comes out of there is going to be great.
Yeah.
But they're going to suffer. I think Jacksonville playing against Tennessee, Houston, Indianapolis probably have a better chance of securing that.
I just think at this point, it's either Malik Willis or Will Levis.
Right. Okay. So, but the Cowboys with last year, they played against Washington, and it was Howell by that point. And, it's kind of a similar situation to what I see going on here. But all right. So you have the Jaguars at 13-4, and I have them at 12-5. Very close. Yeah. Playoff teams. Yeah. All right. Let's finish off the LA Chargers. Las Vegas, you have it as a loss, and I have it as a win, but it's because at Las Vegas, right?
Yes. Listen, I don't think Vegas wins more than 6 games this year.
Right. O'Connell looked like Carr, dude. I thought Derek Carr was. Did you watch?
Yeah, he looked just like him,
dude. Like I thought it like I was, eating chips, like kind of doing stuff. Like I wasn't, and I just thought Derek Carr was in the game. It was so bizarre. Same number. Like,
yep,
yeah.
Is he the guy? Maybe. Is it Jimmy G? Maybe.
Right. Is it Samir?
Yes, it's Samir.
Yes.
Listen, Ben, I love you, buddy.
Right.
And it's been a long time since we got to chat.
Right.
I don't care if it was 10 million, if it was 9 million, whatever it was. He was making 2 million last year, right?
Right.
So why wait? If the tag wasn't good then, the tag's not good now, right? Like,
right.
Saquon signed. He didn't. He hasn't signed. He was waiting in a parking lot at the wee hours of the tag deadline to get a deal done. That I heard it was supposed to be for way more than 10 a year.
Really?
Yeah, I was hearing 15 to 20. That's what he wanted. And if that's where he is, he could go kick rocks somewhere else because they're not paying that.
Man, he's young. He is young.
1 year. He had 1 year where he blew up.
One
the year
elite,
before,
elite
the year before, coming into last season, people were like, is Josh Jacobs a top 10 running back or is he not a top 10 running back, right? He had a top 10 running back year last year. But they didn't give him, after that year, they didn't give him his 5th-year option. That speaks volumes to me.
We're going to know very soon if he's back because the dominoes have started to fall.
But they signed a guy yesterday. Yeah.
Well, but also just running back dominoes, the running back landscape. Lenny's still available. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him sign within the next 7 days. He's going to sign somewhere.
He might go to the Saints. He could go to the Saints.
Yeah. Well, that wouldn't be terrible. Being a guy from Louisiana, go and play with the Honey Badger. All right, let's finish up this division. You have Las Vegas as a loss. I have it as a win. You have Buffalo as a win, and I have Buffalo as a loss. As Buffalo. So we've said enough about Buffalo.
But you know why? At this end of the stage, they kind of seem to fizzle out.
Right. And then Denver, we both have it as a loss at Denver. And then Kansas City at home, we both have it as a win. And this could be a situation also where these teams are playing to get home field advantage, or Kansas City's already secured it. One or the other. But this is going to be a great matchup. So now the Chargers, you have 12-5. I have 11-6. So you have both teams with one more win than I do, but we are fairly close. A few wins and losses in different directions, but man, I think we broke down 50% of the NFL in this episode.
Well, he's not going to give us some reasons why we think they're going to win.
Right. I like it. I'm good with it, man. I hope a lot of people listen to this episode because I think there's some good knowledge and content in here.
I'm with it. I think this is something that needed to be done, and I think people are going to like next week's. Why don't you tell them where we're going next week?
Yeah, we're going out to we mentioned San Francisco, we mentioned Cleveland. We gave them each about 5 minutes on this episode. So we're gonna see if we put our money where our mouth is when we talk about their records in the upcoming season and we compare which team will be winning more games than the other. I am John Sheps. You can find me on the Twitter at Coach Sheps. This is Nino at Nino Brown _T2T. Check out Toilets to Titles at Toilets to Titles on the Twitter. Check out CFB Nation. Check out Tuesday nights Toilets to Titles. On the clock Thursday nights, we got head to head with Nino. Nino, what's all the content you're putting out there so everybody can hear?
So I just wrapped up today. We did Debbie Downs, me and Dean out for CFB Nation. We did my guy, Oregon Duck, freshman wide receiver, Jurian Dickey, 5-star. I got CFB Prime coming up right after this. I'll be dropping head to head tomorrow with Milkbox and Boomer. And then Thursday's on the clock. Friday's P2P.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
Gearing up, baby. So stay tuned. Check us out. And if you want to get into our Gilded Chats, you can talk football with us 24/7. Reach out to me on the Twitter at Coach Sheps. We'll catch you all later on. Take care.